Show Me from Dexy's Midnight Runners, now known as Dexys. Trombone maestro Big Jim Paterson has been a guest with us more than a few times in the past. He is not only working on his JP Collective, he is the new trombonist for Scottish reggae, ska, rock, you name it band Urang Matang. They have a new album, Lighting the Fuse. With me now is Big Jim Paterson and Urang Matang's Al James. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, Chris.
Oh, very happy to have you on. So, Jim, how did you and Urang Matang join forces?
Well, that was quite complicated, but it was actually my wife Sandra who started conversing with Urang Matang on Facebook, I think, and then she played some songs, and I really liked them, and then suddenly I was asked to play, so I guessed on I think it was a specialised charity LP for cancer research, which I did. I can't remember the songs, so that was a couple of years ago. And I sort of gradually just weaseled my way in, basically, you know. And now they can't get rid of me. So it was my wife Sandra. She got me introduced to them.
So Al, you brought Jim on board. What gave you the idea to do that?
Well, when we first started, myself and the sax player Peter first started trying to put the band together about 2009, 2010, and our first attempt, we had a trombone player. We only had a couple of jams with the guy, but I loved the sound. And ever since, we've just hoping it would come together, that we'd find one. And we didn't realise that, of course, we'd get one of the top dogs from the music world just dropping in on us like Big Jim has done. But we always hoped we'd have a nice bit of horns going on, and occasionally we have a guest trumpeter as well, but the trombone, I just think, is the sexiest, big, deepest noise to add to a band, so I'm absolutely delighted.
Oh, thanks, Al.
Well, I would say the baritone is, because that's my instrument. There we go.
Oh, right.
You got on the baritone sax, are you?
No, actually, the baritone horn, so it's not really as sexy as the
baritone
trombone.
Horn,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And they're really hard. And they're really hard to carry around on stage and bounce around with and play. Although I'd like to see a band with a sousaphone. That would be fun.
They're all very good, but I have to say, I don't think, as far as the horn goes, I don't think you get sexier than a trombone. I mean, that is big and long and slidey, man. What more can you ask for? You know, that's why the girls love it, you know.
Yeah, the trombone, not the player.
No, they love the player as well. I mean, you can't have the bone without the player. That's not possible.
You can't make it grow without the chops, right? All right, there we go.
Well, I mean, personally, I've always played in bands with other guitarists, and when I found a sax player to play with, that opened up my musical world immensely. And the fact that Peter has always said, any chance we get, let's have a horn section, you know. And it's new to me in musical, in band, in live terms, and it's just such good fun on stage. Great fun. The more horns, the better, really. So you're very welcome, Chris. You just pop across any time you want, you know. There's always a wee space on stage for you.
Oh, that would be terrific until you hear me play.
Well, we don't have to turn you up, but, you know, it's nice that you're there.
Yeah, there we go. Just pretend I'm there. There we go. I'll just stand and look cute with a shiny suit. With me is Al James from Urang Matang and their new trombonist, you know him, Big Jim Paterson. Al, give our listeners a little bit of a history of Urang Matang.
Well, Urang Matang, it started with myself and Peter, the amazing sax player who I'm blessed to work with, about 6 years ago. And we had the notion we've both played in numerous bands, all sorts of styles down the years since we were kids. But we had noticed recently when we were playing that every time we played a bit of ska, the dance floor would go crazy. So we thought, right, we just got to stick with this. We got to go with this ska thing. And because we're not young, we put in a bit of reggae every now and again just to let our pulse rates come down. But it's the energy and it's the good time vibe we're after. So we also love all the two-tone energy of the 80s in Britain. It was a short-lived scene, but I mean, Jim knows a lot about that scene from Dexy's coming out at about the same time when there was that energy of punkiness and ska and just upbeat good times. And that's all we aim for, you know. So we try to write songs that are nice, that captures people's imagination and find the beats that work and basically go out there with a big smile on our faces, have fun.
And that's the way it should be. And the name Urang Matang?
The name Urang Matang, well, we first started out, we were thinking, if we're a ska band, is this like a sort of a gangster ska sound or what? So we started off, my first few batch of songs for the band were about street fighting man, about the wars that we try to avoid and survive when we're young out and growing up. And I thought, I don't want really too much violence in that, so we thought, well, maybe more like a monkey ska band, which is just like swinging from the trees and hanging out, So the name Urang Matang came just out of that expression of us all being monkeys under the skin, and what better way to do it than grab a good monkey name and just distort it a little bit by changing a few letters.
One of your band photos is rather interesting. It's an orangutan. You sent me this. It's an orangutan smoking weed while wearing a Rasta hat and with the dreadlocks.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that image came from. I think that might have actually been a fan who put that together for us. I think that's just one of the images that came, out from the world back to us, and said, okay, if that's who you are, this is what we think you look like. And, we'll wear a hat. We don't mind a Rasta hat. That's nice. It's nice, right? I mean, our brothers from Jamaica just set us up with such great music, such a great sense of style and rhythm and beat for us to play with,
They did, and I got to tell you, you mixed a few different genres together, and that's what you get, your own sound.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, we are who we are, and we're we're inspired by so many different people, all sorts of genres of music, and no matter how specific you are in creating a genre, your influences come from the world of music, and you can't deny it. And the way you play your instrument as well, that's what I love about being in a band, is that you take the component parts. The people that you play with determine what the music sounds like. I'm not somebody to impose a style on musicians. I want them to bring their style to play with,
Chris Cordani here. This is Revenge of the 80s Radio. Urang Matang's Al James and Big Jim Paterson are with me on the show. Now, your new album's called Lighting the Fuse. Let's talk about that.
Well, it's the title track of the album, and the track itself is a nice, simple little reggae ska groove, and the song is the topic is addiction, and there are so many different addictions. I think probably most people, if they admit it, will be addicted to something in life, whether it's a cup of tea, whether it's a hard drug, whether it's gambling. And the song, just looking at that, it's not a judgmental song. It's just a song that says, we're all addicted to something, whatever it may be. And lighting the fuse is just the idea that, when you decide what your addiction is, whether it's smoking or drinking or gambling, whatever the thing that grabs you when you're young and impressionable, it's like lighting a fuse. It's like, is this the bomb that's going to go off? Is this the bomb that's going to take you? And it's kind of in the hope that we can all control our addictions, get to a point where we have some control over them rather than having the control over us, But I don't like to judge people on that. It's just I look around the world and I see so many people with so many different things that grab them,
Now, Jim, you played with some of the greatest musicians around the world, yourself included. These guys are just incredible, too. I was listening to some of their older music and some of the new album, and talk about the guys you're playing with right now, Jim.
Oh, yeah, they are. They're incredible musicians. It took me a while to realise that, probably because I was so getting into my own thing, first of all, before I started feeling relaxed playing with them. And then when I did, a few months ago, I realised, my God, these are really, really good musicians. I mean, all this guitar playing is just incredible. And Peter is just a joy to play with, and Stuart and Keith and Jose, who's taken over from Keith at the moment on bass. I mean, they're all just brilliant, and I feel so relaxed playing with them now that I've no worries. I just go on stage, and I'm the one that makes all the mistakes, crack the notes, and because we don't practice together. Because I live in London and they're up and scattered across the south of Scotland. But when we get together, it's just a wonderful vibe, and it's fun. There's no pressure. And to be honest, I don't even know half the songs yet because I'm just so. I forget to learn them. I just sort of get on stage and think, okay, I'll be able to wing this one, busk it a bit. But they don't give me glaring looks and give me a telling off. They just let me make my mistakes, and it's fine because the audience love it, and it's just a pleasure to work with them. Just an absolute pleasure.
It's called improv. There we go, improv.
Yeah, here.
Lighting the fuse for both of you. Maybe what are one or two tracks that stand out to each of you?
I think Hot Sun's a good number. I think you know what? I can't even remember what's on now. Tell me what the tracks are called.
I'm struggling as well. I'm struggling as well.
Just remind me. Well,
Hot
Lock 'em Up.
Sun
That's
is
a great song.
track.
Yeah,
Lock 'em Up is a punky. It's a punky thing. We like to add the little different flavours that ska can cope with from the age that ska appeared as two-tone in this country, in Britain. The energies, for instance, for the Dexys, there are all sorts of kinds of music that was exploding at the time. And punk was big. And punk was part of the blend. Punk and reggae came together at the same time, and out of that, two-tone sort of happened. And the reggae, the ska, the British ska sound. And I think it's important to drop a little bit punk in there, and it reminds you to be young, I think, as well. To have that a bit of attitude in amongst all the little sweet songs like Hot Sun, which is just about lying in the sun on a spring day in the north of Scotland getting a suntan. It's a very strange experience. If you want to get me some, there's a few songs I've written on this album that touch on addictions, and it's funny because just in the last 5 months I've given up smoking, the evil weed that is tobacco. And it's funny that I should have written so many addiction songs at the time that I'm actually tackling a bit of addiction. So there's a personal level there for me. I don't know about Jim. I mean, everyone will see these songs differently.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we've all got our addictions, definitely. And I didn't realise actually that so many of them were going to touch me. And I do sort of. I'm actually getting into the ethos of the whole band now. And that's another reason why it's so good to play with these guys, because it's I can connect with all the songs, and Al is just he's such an insightful person, and it's just the music is great. Every song is slightly different. There's, like you said, there's different feels, different combinations, and that's why I wouldn't even call this a reggae or a ska band. I think there's something far more than that. I wouldn't know what to call this. I wouldn't want to put this in a pigeonhole anyway, but you don't come along to.
Jim Paterson and Al James of Urang Matang with me here on Revenge of the 80s Radio. So, gentlemen, you just got off the road, but are you going to have some more dates to support the new album?
Yeah, we do indeed. When you're listening to this, hopefully you'll be listening to this, and we'll probably be on the Isle of Skye in the nice Western Highlands of Scotland. We've got other gigs coming up through around about Scotland, from Glasgow, Stonehaven, and also to the borders where myself and the drummer Stuart are from. We've got a local gig at the end of the month, so yeah, we're going to push this album just all the way around Scotland as much as possible. Having just done quite a bit of England recently, and maybe even get somewhere a bit closer to where Jim's from at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Stonehaven's not too far, just the other side of Aberdeen.
Oh, that's right. Once you get yourself moved up to sunny Scotland again, that'll be lovely. Yeah. So yes, we are. We're doing the rounds, Chris. We're getting as far around this little country as we can, and it's lovely to hear that it's shouting out across the pond as well. That's brilliant.
And if you want to find out more about tour dates and anything else going on with the band, check out their website, urangmatang.com. That's urangmatang.com. I bet it was tough to get that domain. Anyway, Jim, since I have you here now with us, can you tell us a little bit about what's been going on recently with the JP Collective?
Well, it's coming along nicely, actually. We had a bit of a quiet period a couple of months ago, but then, all the really important people started getting organised. It's all about organisation because we're all scattered across the country and in fact the world, and because I've certainly never done anything like this before, so it's very hard to get things organised and get people to sort of be on the same page at the same time. But it seems to be coming together now, and some very clever people that actually have got involved. We're going to set up a blog, so it comes off Facebook, so we can just go onto the website, and it'll be a lot easier to communicate between each other. And some of the songs we've written some great songs. There's some really talented people on the JP Collective, so it's coming together nicely, slowly but surely. But that doesn't matter because charity will always need money. The next 20, 30 years. So, I mean, I hope it finishes before. I hope I can get at least one LP out before 30 years. I've gone through all that already. So slowly but surely, but it's coming together, and it's sounding really good.
Big Jim Paterson and Al James, thank you again for joining us here on Revenge of the 80s Radio.
You're welcome, Chris. Thank you. And you remember that you rang our tang as well.
Oh, thank you very much. And I'll ring some more of your music as well right here on the show.
All right, thanks very much, Chris.
Sweet. Well appreciated, Chris. Well appreciated.
Yeah, cheers.
The website is urangmatang.com. That's urangmatang.com. Let's play a track from the new Lighting the Fuse. Here is Lock 'em Up from Urang Matang on Revenge of the 80s Radio.